Welcome, I'm Melissa. This is the end of the year book tag. I would like to thank Pat of Book Chat with Pat for tagging me. Question 1. Are there any books you started this year that you need to finish? I'm hoping to finish Firehand by Andre Norton. And this is a really fun, this is the 5th book in the Time Trader series. And it's a really fun science fiction fantasy series. And it's from the 1960s, and it's just, it has some social commentary from the time, which is kind of interesting, but overall it's just really fun to read. It's a time travel series, and so I bought all of the I bought books 5 through 7. I listened to the first 4 books for free, but then I had to buy the other books, and so I'm hoping to finish the 5th book when I go to visit my great aunt just before Christmas. Question 2. Do you have an autumn book to transition into the end of the year? Yes, we just finished, the banned book club here on BookTube just finished The Absolutely True Diary of a Part-Time Indian by Sherman Alexie, and it was a really well-written book for kind of aimed at teenage boys, aimed at teenagers in generally, but especially at teenage boys. And I rated it 4 stars for my experience with it, but I think if I had been a teenager, it would have been a 5-star experience. And kind of it goes through sort of teaching teenagers about themes of family and community and belonging at the same time as figuring out your own identity, differentiation, and racism and alcoholism and all kinds of things. So it really packs a punch. It really fits in a lot of themes into one book, but does it well. Question 3. Is there a new release you're still waiting for? No, well, yes, but that one will come out next summer. There's a biography that I'm waiting for next summer, but not one that's coming out at the end of this year. But the one that I read that was a new release this year was Making the Presidency, John Adams and the Precedents That Forged the Republic by Lindsay and Chervinsky. And this was a really crisply written presidential biography that if you're looking to get into reading presidential biographies, I don't remember the name of the channel, but I know that there is a channel that has been doing a presidential biography project for a really long time, and this is one that I think would be good for that. It really goes into the sort of what it was like to be the president right after George Washington, who set up a lot of precedents for what it meant to be the president of the United States. But he didn't set up everything. He left some things for the second president to figure out. But he also left the second president to figure out how to create the peaceful transition of power after an actual election. Because, I mean, everyone assumed that George Washington was going to be the president. But then we had the election of the next president, and people were kind of like, okay, John Adams, all right, fine. But then after that, there was a real extreme divide in the country over who should be the next president after John Adams, and whether John Adams should remain president or whether someone else should be president and all of that. And so this really goes into that kind of divide and how John Adams as president sort of handled how to constitutionally forge that peaceful transition of power. And I thought it was really good. And then question 4, what are the 3 books you want to read before the end of the year? Well, I'm almost done with Tress of the Emerald Sea by Brandon Sanderson. And then I want to start Valdemar by Mercedes Lackey, which is the 3rd book in the Founding of Valdemar series, which is, excuse me, the first in a multi-trilogy series about Valdemar as a world. And I kind of read that series backwards because somebody recommended to me the first book in the last trilogy. So, but start with Beyond. Start with the first book in the Founding of Valdemar trilogy and read forward instead of reading backward like I did. And then I want to read The Murder of 12 by Jessica Fletcher, which is a Christmas cozy mystery, which is different for me. So question 5, is there a book that you think could still shock you and become your favorite book of the year? I'm thinking probably not. I've read a lot of fun and stimulating books this year, and this month I'm kind of reading novels and just kind of reading fluffy books because I have a trip and 2 family birthdays, including my own, and the holidays, and that's just a lot to deal with in a month. So I'm not trying to read like the heavy histories or anything like that this month. So I'm probably not going to come out with a favorite, but that's fine. Question 6, have you already started making reading plans for next year? Yes, I have some. So I have book lists, right? I have various book lists for different categories, and I have some books highlighted on my Q1 and Q2 Historathon lists already. And I have some books that I kind of have pegged for if I do this reading event or that reading event, then I want to read this book or that book. I have a book that I got recently at Friends of the Library bookshelf that I thought would be a good airplane book. And, you know, when I go visit my brother this spring. So yeah, I've got some things that might be interesting, so we'll see. But I don't know if I would like to try some banned books. I know the banned book club is going to continue into the next year, and so I would like to look at some banned book lists and see if there's anything I'm interested in. But I don't know the overall shape of my reading next year. I'm not sure if I'm going to do the American history project going forward because I'm just not sure if that's providing value to anyone, and I'm not sure if I'm still, how interested in it I still am. But anyway, so that's all the questions. If you enjoyed this tag, come back later so that you can see the best and worst books of 2024 list I'm working on. I'll also include a playlist of other tags on the screen if you'd like to watch those. I hope you have a good month. Take care.